Welcome, have a nice day. Today is Thursday, 27th of June 2024. This day is celebrated as International Pineapple Day. It's celebrated on June 27th is a fun occasion to discover the sweet and tangy world of pineapples. Learn about their history, health benefits, and tasty recipes, and join the global celebration of this tropical delight. On June 27, 1964, the teen Murthy Bhavan, which was official residence of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, was converted into Nehru Memorial Museum. So, starting the newspaper analysis with the newspaper The Hindu states that Israel to build a supercomputer to keep pace in global artificial intelligence race. Tech accounts for 20% of Israeli economic output, and the country is widely regarded as one of the largest tech centers in the world. Israel next month will launch a tender to establish the country's first supercomputer to ensure the country remains a global leader in the artificial intelligence technologies. Israel next month will launch a tender to establish the country's first supercomputer to ensure the country remains a global leader in the artificial intelligence technologies, the chief executive of the state-backed Israel Innovation Authority said on Wednesday. Speaking at an artificial intelligence conference, Dror Bin said that while artificial intelligence has been a friend for Israel tech sector, it could turn into a foe without action, given artificial intelligence is a fast evolving technology. The Hindu newspaper also states that United States Supreme Court to allow emergency abortions in Idaho report. The United States Supreme Court is set to allow abortions for women experiencing medical emergencies in Idaho. The court's apparent decision comes 2 years after the conservative majority bench overturned the nationwide right to terminate a pregnancy, making reproductive rights a pivotal issue that could affect the outcome of the November presidential election. The United States Supreme Court is set to allow abortions for women experiencing medical emergencies in Idaho, according to a copy of a verdict briefly posted on its website and seen by Bloomberg News on Wednesday. The court's apparent decision comes 2 years after the conservative majority bench overturned the nationwide right to terminate a pregnancy, making reproductive rights a pivotal issue that could affect the outcome of the November presidential election. The Hindu newspaper also states that the United States issues rare criticism of India in religious freedom report. United States Secretary of State Antony Blinken. In India, we see a concerning increase in anti-conversion laws, hate speech, demolitions of homes and places of worship of members of minority faith communities. United States Secretary of State Blinken said the United States offered rare criticism of close partner India in a report published Wednesday on religious freedom, while also voicing alarm over the rising bigotry worldwide against both Jews and Muslims. Secretary of State Antony Blinken unveiled the annual report and said that the United States was also facing its own sharp increase of both anti-Semitism and Islamophobia in connection to the Gaza war. The Hindu newspaper also states that successful G20 meet in the Srinagar Leopard tourism in Kashmir, J&K, Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha. Jammu and Kashmir Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha credited G20 meeting in the Srinagar last year for boosting tourism in the valley. Speaking at the two-day J&K Tourism Development Conclave 2024, Mr. Sinha highlighted the massive transformation witnessed in Kashmir tourism over the past few years. Jammu and Kashmir Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha on Wednesday credited the successful and peaceful G20 meeting in Srinagar last year for boosting tourism potential and reviving foreign tourists' footfall to the valley. Speaking at the two-day J&K Tourism Development Conclave 2024 at the Sher Kashmir International Convention Center (SKICC), Mr. Sinha highlighted the massive transformation witnessed in Kashmir tourism over the past few years. A real boost was a successful and peaceful G20 Tourism Working Group meeting. The participants later became the brand ambassador of J&K's tourism post-G20 meeting. Foreign and domestic tourism Tourist arrivals showed a significant increase, the Lieutenant Governor said. Going towards the Hindustan Times newspaper status that House keys with Speaker Om Birla. New Delhi BJP MP Om Birla arrives at the Parliament House complex during the first session of the 18th Lok Sabha in New Delhi, Wednesday, June 26, 2024. Birla was later elected as the Speaker of the Lok Sabha. The new house has completely different look. A 236-member strong opposition will be a different challenge for 293-member NDA. It would require a skillful flow of management by the Treasury benches if the House is to deliver on the mandate. Speaker Birla's inaugural address to the House was ominous as he invoked the emergency to say that the Prime Minister Indira Gandhi had imposed a dictatorship on the country. The government can still retrieve lost ground. The onus on ensuring the smooth running of Parliament rests with the Treasury bench. By inviting the opposition to nominate the Deputy Speaker, a harmonious Parliament with a bipartisan consensus is welcome and the possible idea. 3 terrorists gunned down in Dora encounter, police says. Security personnel on patrol ahead of the annual Amarnath Yatra near the Bhagwati Nagar base camp in Jammu on Wednesday. Security has been heightened after the recent terrorist attack in the region. Srinagar, 3 terrorists have been killed in an encounter with the security forces in the Jammu's Dora district on Wednesday, with one of Jammu and Kashmir police jawan suffering injuries in the gunfight. The multi-agency operation called Operation Lagore was launched on Wednesday morning in the area that has seen a spike in the terrorist attacks and counter offensives over the past 2 years. India raises concerns about the Myanmar violence, flags arms narcotics trafficking. Jaishankar also called for an early return to the path of the democratic transition in Myanmar and said India stands ready to help in any manner. New Delhi, India raised its deep concern over the violence and instability in Myanmar and the threat posed by the trafficking of narcotics and weapons when the External Affairs Minister Ajay Shankar met Myanmar's Deputy Prime Minister Than Shwe in New Delhi on Wednesday. Over 5.65 lakh officials trained to implement new criminal laws for July 1st. The National Crime Records Bureau is providing technical assistance to the states and the union territories for a seamless transition to the new system. As the law enforcement agencies across the country brace for July 1st when the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita BNS, Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita BNSS and the Bharatiya Sakshaya Adhiniyam BSA will come into effect. Over 5.565 lakh police personnel, forensic, judicial and prosecution officials across the country have been trained in the new criminal laws. People familiar with the development said. Now, going towards the economy of the country from the business point of view, net equity outflows at rupees 1,398 crore or the 1.5% of the total AUM in the last 3 days got mutual fund. The fund house has witnessed redemptions after some media reports last week reported that the Securities and Exchange Board of India (SEBI) conducted a search and seizure operations on Court Mutual Fund on suspicion of the front running at its Mumbai and Hyderabad offices. Court Mutual Fund's founder and chief investment officer Sandeep Tandon on Wednesday said the fund house has seen net equity outflows to the tune of rupees 1,398 crore or 1.5% of its total asset under the management AUM over the last 3 days. The fund house has seen a substantial jump in its total AUM from rupees 27 crore in 2018 to rupees 93,000 crore. Currently, it has 26 schemes and has 84 lakh investors. As per the latest stress test result, the found house would take 9 days to liquidate 50% of a quant mid-cap fund and 5 days to liquidate 25% of the same fund. It will take 28 days to liquidate 50% of the quant small cap fund portfolio and 14 days to the liquidate 25% of it. Besides, the fund house has borrowing lines of rupees 650 crore to manage any contingency situation, Tendon said. Tendon said, as a strategy, the fund house has moved its exposure from mid and small caps to large caps. This decision is more from a risk management perspective, and the fund house is not negative on mid and small caps. We have moved from liquid to liquid stocks, illiquid to liquid stocks, and that is an important strategy we have played out, Tendon said. Domestic funds on buying spree as indices breach new peaks. The National Stock Exchange Nifty index jumped by 147 points or 0.62% to 23,868.80 in the sustained buying euphoria despite withdrawals by foreign institutional investors. FPIs. On Wednesday, DLLS, led by mutual funds, bought a stock worth rupees 5,103 crore, thereby boosting the bull rally. However, Phyllis pulled out rupees 3,535 crore from the cash market during the day, according to the exchange data. Requirements yet to be sure. IT system to reduce EPF claim rejection facing delay. In a letter dated June 18th, sent by the IT Ministry of the Labor and Employment Ministry, there is a tacit acknowledgement that the latter is working towards reducing the number of EPF rejections, which have soared multifold in the last few years. Even as the rejection rates for employees' provident fund (EPF) are climbing, a key software intervention to meet the Labor Ministry's requirement to reduce the number of rejected claims is facing a significant delay. The Center for Development and Advanced Computing (CDAC), a unit of the IT Ministry, which is building a central IT system for the EPFO, is yet to receive key information from the organization. According to the world news, including 233 new climate petitions globally in the 2023, Indian Supreme Court's April ordered an important milestone. Bolivia coup attempt fails after a military assault on presidential palace. Indiana seeks first execution since 2009 after acquiring lethal injection drug. Governor says watch Julian Assange, Hack's wife and the father as he returns home after 14 years. United States State Department says Julian Assange actions put people at risk. Passenger train carriage derail in Russia, not injuring 20. Now going to the science and tech news, we have multiomics is changing how India spots and treats TB cancers. Genomics and metagenomics are coming in handy to analyze the antimicrobial resistance. Disease-specific control consortia have sprung up around the country to create data sets for personalized medicines. In the last decade, India's use of genomics has undergone a significant transformation, so much so that the diagnosis, management, and treatment of many diseases, including tuberculosis, cancers, and those caused by the antimicrobial resistance, stand on the cusp of a revolution. South African scientists make a rhinoceros harness radioactive to curb poaching. A sedated rhinoceros lies unconscious as a James Larkin left from the University of the Witwatersrand implants the radio isotopes into the harness along with the other isotope project members in the Waterbury UNESCO Biosphere in Mokopane, June 25, 2024. The radioactive material would render the horn useless for human consumption while setting off alarms at the border posts. South African scientists on Tuesday injected radioactive material into a live rhinoceros harness to make them easier to detect at border posts in the pioneering project aimed at curbing poaching. The country is home to a large majority of the world's rhinoceroses, and as such is a hotspot for poaching driven by demand from Asia, where horns are used in the traditional medicine for their supposed therapeutic effect. Red the rocks to improve the India's geological literacy as the stretch between the Vishakhapatnam and Pimli. India's collective regard for its extensive geo-heritage is abysmal, with the landscape that range from the world's greatest peaks to the low-lying coastal plains. India showcases a diverse morphology that has evolved over billions of years. In several places, we find a variety of the rocks and minerals and distinctive fossil assemblages. These geological features and the landscapes tell us the spectacular origin stories derived not from mythology but from the scientific interpretations. India's tumultuous geological past is recorded in its rocks and terrains and should be considered as our non-cultural heritage. India offers many such examples. Geoheritage sites are educational spaces where people acquire much needed geological literacy, especially when India's collective regard for the legacy is abysmal. Niti Aayog's tourism project will be tremendously destructive to Great Nicobar, says Pankaj Sakharia in a new book. Pankaj Sakharia with his new book, The Great Nicobar Betrayal, published by Frontline. Speaking about the new book, The Great Nicobar Betrayal, published by Frontline, Pankaj Sakharia on Wednesday said that the Niti Aayog's soon-to-be-launched tourism and real estate project is a tremendously destructive threat to the Great Nicobar Islands ecology and indigenous population. The present government has gone to great lengths to notify at certain stretches of the island previously marked as protected areas for leatherback turtles in order to enable to transfer of the land commercial purposes, said Mr. Sakharia, who has spent close to the 2 decades studying the contemporary issues in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. He was speaking at the book launch in Delhi while in conversation with the chief guest Amita Bavaskar, a sociologist and a professor of anthropology at the Ashoka University. Coal mining linked to serious respiratory and skin disease among the workers in 3 states, says study. Workers at an open-cast coal mine in Jharia on the outskirts of the Dhanbad in Jharkhand. Every household in the 6 districts of the Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Odisha spends rupees 300 to 1000 a month on a medical need, says study. Prolonged exposure to coal mining pollutants has resulted in a widespread respiratory and skin diseases among the workers and the people in the 6 districts in India, where coal extraction is a major occupation, says a survey involving 1200 households and published by the National Foundation for India, an organization that works on social justice issues. At least 65% of the participants interviewed reported issues such as chronic bronchitis, asthma, and the skin ailments such as eczema, dermatitis, and the fungal infections. Dr. Hill's teenage daughter tested positive for Zika virus infection in Pune. Aedes aegypti mosquitoes responsible for transmitting Zika sit in a petri dish at the Fiocruz Institute in Recife, Brazil. Zika virus infectious doctor and a daughter in Pune, Maharashtra. Health officials take preventive measures against the mosquito-borne disease. A 46-year-old doctor and his teenage daughter have tested positive for Zika virus infection in Pune city of Maharashtra, but their health condition is stable, an official said on June 26. The man recently developed symptoms like a fever and rashes, following which he has admitted to the private hospital. The medical facility sent his blood samples to the city-based National Institute of Virology, NIV, for analysis. On June 21, his reports confirmed that he tested positive for Zika virus infection, a health official of Pune Municipal Corporation said. Artificial intelligence data set licensing companies from the trade group. 7 content licensing sellers of data sets for use in training artificial intelligence systems have formed the sector's first trade group. Artificial intelligence data set licensing companies formed a trade group or to advocate for ethical data sourcing. In the training of the artificial intelligence systems, including the rights for people depicted in the data sets and the protection of content owners. Seven content licensing sellers of music, image, video, and other data sets for use in training artificial intelligence systems have formed the sector's first trade group, they said on Wednesday. The Data Set Providers Alliance's DPA will advocate for ethical data sourcing in the training of the artificial intelligence systems, including rights for people depicted in the data sets and the protection of the content owners' intellectual property rights, the companies said in a statement. At last, there is a famous quotation said by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, whose full name was Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar, who was born on 14 April 1891 up to 6 December 1956, was an Indian jurist, economist, a social reformer, and a political leader who headed the committee drafting the Constitution of India. From the Constituent Assembly debates, served as the Law and Justice Minister in the first cabinet of the Jawaharlal Nehru, and inspired the Dalit Buddhist movement after renouncing Hinduism. After graduating from the Elphinstone College or University of Bombay, Ambedkar studied economics at Columbia University and the London School of Economics, receiving doctorates in 1927 and 1923, respectively, and was among a handful of Indian students to have done so at either institution in the 1920s. He also trained in the law at Gray's in London. In his early career, he was an economist, professor, and lawyer. His later life was marked by his political activities. He became involved in campaigning and negotiations for the partition, publishing journals advocating political rights and social freedom for Dalits, and contributing to the establishment of the State of India. 1956, he converted to Buddhism, initiating mass conversions of Dalits. In 1990, the Bharat Ratna, India's highest civilian award, was posthumously conferred on the Ambedkar. The solution Jai Bhim, used by the followers, honors him. He is also referred to by the nickname Baba Sahib, meaning the respected father. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar says a famous quotation. He says that my final words of advice to you are: educate, agitate, and organize. Have faith in yourself. Okay, thank you.